Got this.
Alright, listen up. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Alright, so for those of you that commute, how you guys see the gas prices at, what is it now, $4.50, and each week it's raising and raising and raising, right? Well, imagine running on a gallon for half the price per gallon, say about $2.50, $2.60. How much better is that than the $4 that you have right now? A lot better, right? You can go from the beach back in one whole tank. So how you may ask? Well, biofuels. Fuels that are made from crops such as corn that turns into ethanol, marine fungus such as algae, and plants such as macranthus. Why should you guys care about biofuels? Well, like I mentioned right now, gas prices each week are increasing dollar by dollar, and your money is decreasing dollar by dollar. By the end of the week, you're broke, can't go out, can't even rent a movie at Redbox. It's sad. So I myself got the chance to go to a algae where they produce oil from algae, a marine fungus, right here in Los Angeles, about 30 minutes away. I forgot what city it is. But you wouldn't expect it, like the machines and laboratories that they have there, you wouldn't expect it in like the neighborhood that it's around. Because I went with my professor, and I myself was like, dang, he's taking me like to some ghetto place. It looked pretty scary. But in the inside, you saw this, and they actually show you the process, how it's a process called electrolysis, where algae sinks down. Algae is like that green bacteria, but it's not a bacteria, it's a marine fungus, and it just grows on water. And the electrolysis brings it up, and then it converts it all into oil. So what I am saying is, if all nations contribute to using biofuel and moving on to it as the source for the future, then we can end the dependency that we have on petroleum. So for the first part of my speech, So for my speech, I'm going to talk about first what biofuels are and why scientists have leaned more towards focusing on them. Second, the pros and costs to produce. And third, the cons of migrating to biofuel. So what are biofuels? Fuels that are derived from biomass, like I said, marine funguses, plants, crops, corn, right here. And what I like to say, the future for our fuel source, because our oil dependency is reached its limit. Peak oil. Do you guys know what peak oil is? Like, in simple terms, we're using more than we can produce or what we can find. So this would be a great alternative for it. So here we have the types of biofuels. Corn. This is corn, and right here is ethanol, gas. It can be turned into gas, power your lawnmower, truck, car, whatever you need. And I put on a little definition right here. And then this is what I was talking to you about. Algae. And this right here, all these green things, all this green is algae. And in Origin Oil, that's the company, when they put it under the process of electrolysis, all this comes up and it extracts the oils from it. So it substitutes petroleum. Basic view on how it would be transported when we move towards it. So you have your feedstock, which is like, you have your corn, plants that can turn into it, and your marine fungus. It's transported, it's refined. Same place that it's refined, it's converted into whatever you need, oil, gas, such like that. And then it goes to the distribution, gas stations, which is what biofuel should be used for instead of petroleum. Distribution, and then we have the end user, which would be us. So why have scientists focused on biofuels? Like I mentioned, many scientists over a decade ago started noticing patterns that we're reaching our peak on oil. So they started to find alternatives. They started investigating their hypothesis, and they found that biofuels are much more efficient in their emissions that they emit. Also, they're environmental friendly. So like petroleum and gas, the smog, it creates CO2. But instead, the emissions from, say, ethanol or algae would in a way of sensing it, see it like the gas, and then we have the dirty CO2 already. The emissions from your car would clean up the air, so it would be decreasing the CO2 concentrations of the atmosphere. Also, it's simple to produce. It's not like oil where you have these big machines everywhere. So now that we have knowledge of what biofuels are, it leads me to my next point on the pros and how much they cost and what's the cost to produce. So pros, they're renewable. Unlike petroleum, where it's not a renewable source, it's a fossil fuel, which means we can't recreate it. We have to find it. Biofuels are renewable. We can grow them. We can trick the plants into thinking they're dying. So it'll expand more. It'll make it create more biomass. Like I mentioned, emits less pollution. Quick alternative to petroleum. Simple to refine and convert. And an article posted on FTALFaville.ft.com, May 2nd, 2008. The average oil barrel, which barrels are like this high, an average oil barrel, I don't say 20 pounds, somewhere around there, cost $110 just to buy. And then compared to what OriginOil.com was, it was $34 a barrel to produce. So now that I told you the pros and the cons, let me move on to my next point, which are the cons. So cons are not all cars run on biodiesel because right now we're stuck and we're addicted to petroleum. Fewer biodiesel stations, so you don't have these all around, and we would need to expand more land because we would need to produce for what we eat, our crops, and to produce. Also, it generates more energy to produce than the final product. So, all these were answered by Cornell University researcher David Pimento on environmental.about.com on March 15, 2005. So, like I said, conclusion, I've told you why have scientists focused on biofuel and towards it, what the pros and cons to produce would be, and the cons of migrating to an alternative source of fuel. So I just want to say next time you guys bite into corn, to remember you can create gas from it. So thank you.